Original story. My fiancé and I are planning our wedding. She comes from a large family. She has 5 sisters, most of whom have kids. 4 of her sisters are her bridesmaids, one is serving as maid of honor. I come from a smaller family. Just my parents, my sister, and my niece, Brynn. Brynn is 3 years old and pretty much my best pal. I'm her godfather, I love her to bits. I didn't care when my fiancé didn't choose my sister to be a bridesmaid, and likewise, my sister was cool with it. I did feel some sort of way because I have all 4 of my fiancé's brothers-in-law in my wedding party, at fiancé's request, but ultimately, it's her side of the party, she can do what she wants. Then it came time to pick the younger roles in the wedding. Her older nephews are junior groomsmen, the younger is the ring bearer. She only has one niece, Aubrey, who's 4. My fiancé wants her to be the flower girl. I said that's fine, but I also want Brynn to be one. They can walk down the aisle together, it'd be super cute. Brynn loves playing with Aubrey, so they get along. My fiancé says she wants our wedding to be traditional, so there can only be one flower girl. I suggested Brynn could hold a sign or something while Aubrey threw flowers. My fiancé said no, she can sit with my sister and parents. At this point, I insisted and said Brynn would be the flower girl. I texted my sister and asked, and she agreed. My fiancé got pissed, and I said it's my day too, Brynn means a great deal to me, and she'll be in the wedding. My fiancé and Aubrey's mom are mad at me, saying I'm stealing Aubrey's spotlight. Am I the idiot? Info. Are you two getting premarital counseling to do a general inventory on how you two agree or disagree on other issues? Because I have a sense that if you two did get such counseling, there would be a lot more issues uncovered. We don't have that planned. Maybe a good idea. It's a great idea. Couples before getting married really need to hash out exactly how they feel about things like money, raising kids, how to handle parents when they get older, etc. 100% pro premarital counseling. My partner and I are looking at getting married soon, and premarital counseling is part of that process. OP, not the idiot. My partner and I have similarly aged nieces who will be co-flower girls. I even have a second niece who is a smidge older who will likely also be grouped in with them, maybe blowing bubbles. It is totally normal, and for my partner and I, didn't feel like any sort of compromise. We both said, yes, of course, this makes sense because we want all the kids involved. Not the idiot. Just an observation, your fiancé sees this as her wedding, not our wedding. Honestly, if it were me, and I'm maybe just way too petty, I would tell her that either Brynn is in as a co-flower girl or none of your fiancé's brothers-in-law are groomsmen, just replace them with friends or co-workers. But again, just an observation, if this is your fiancé's reaction. Good luck, buddy. For real. She already took over both halves of the bridal party, so the least she can do is give him a co-flower girl. If my fiancé tried to dictate my groomsmen, that would be a real deal breaker for me. I might allow one if I actually liked him enough. The way I see it, my groomsmen are mine, her bridesmaids are hers, and unless there is something serious, we don't really get much of a say in that. I already made it clear to my GF who I'm talking marriage with that my best friend and his wife will both be standing up for me. She's so excited to get a matching suit with her husband, and I don't care how anyone's family reacts. I won't dictate her side and she won't dictate mine. Update. Okay, wow. Did not expect this to blow up the way it did. Thank you to everyone who reached out. This morning, my fiancé and I sat down to talk about the wedding in general. I brought up Brynn and Aubrey. My fiancé just kept parroting its tradition, let Aubrey have the spotlight. She shot down compromise after compromise, Aubrey walks first, Brynn blows bubbles or holds a sign, etc. Finally, my fiancé was honest. She doesn't want Brynn in our wedding because Brynn has Down syndrome. She said everyone will be looking at her, taking pity, etc. Turns out it wasn't about a spotlight on Aubrey, but my damn fiancé. I told her to screw herself, called her ableist and said don't worry, there won't be a spotlight to steal anymore because there's no wedding. I've left our apartment, staying at my sister's and playing with Brynn. My phone has been blowing up with texts and calls from my fiancé. Magically she's ready to compromise now. I need time but I'm likely done. Y'all were right. I just want to start by saying I'm pretty sure I'm not the idiot. But my friend and her family are pretty certain that I am. Please bear with me, I'm just wanting some clarity over this situation to make sure I'm not crazy. I, 24F, have epilepsy. I have a service dog, fully certified, who is trained to help me with my seizures. I have been diagnosed since a child, and I have had my current dog Bailey for 4 years now, and she is the best girl around. Before Bailey, I had a previous service dog who we had to retire due to age. But having a service animal is by no means new for me. With her being a service dog, she is obviously always with me. I have a core friend group who hangs out quite often. My one friend, let's call her Anna, also 24F, always makes really weird and almost passive-aggressive comments about me and Bailey. For example, dogs shouldn't come to restaurants, I'm inconveniencing people, etc. She doesn't get that I legitimately need her for my own safety. It's not just for show. My seizures are really regular. For context, I actually get 2 different kinds. My small ones are petite small seizures. This essentially just looks like I'm zoning out and staring into space. Quite often people who don't know me wouldn't even connect this. My big ones are my main concern. These are focal seizures where I fully lose consciousness. This can happen a couple of times a day for me, so it's obviously really important that I manage it to the best of my abilities. Anyways. Our friend Anna wanted to host a games night happy night type thing at her house. When we were there, she lost it on me. She told me it was incredibly disrespectful that I showed up with Bailey without asking for permission first. That I can't just assume people will be happy with a dog always being around. That I should have just stayed home if I couldn't handle being out for a few hours without Bailey. I tried apologizing and pointing out that I assumed she knew I was bringing her since I'd never gone anywhere without her. That set her off more. The guys were finally able to calm her down, but her compromise was I had to put Bailey in the backyard. I was an idiot and said fine because I didn't want to inconvenience anyone more or continue stirring the pot. Bailey went outside and I returned inside with my friends. I ended up having a seizure, blacking out, and smashing my head on the floor. I had to go to the hospital because of how hard I hit my head. I guess my friend group absolutely handed Anna her butt, calling her a hateful, toxic, and jealous witch. I guess she was trying to say that I passed out for the attention and I got my way like always. Long story short, no one wants her around anymore. Since this happened, she, her sister, and mom have been blowing up my phone, calling me the idiot and demanding I fix this situation. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She sounds awful, to be honest. Your friend group was right to stick up for you. Her behavior was deplorable. Not the idiot. She literally caused you to suffer a medical incident. She had so little regard for your health and well-being that she caused you actual harm. I'd be sending her, her mom, and her sister copies of the hospital bill and then cutting them off completely. Not the idiot. I really hope you are okay after the seizure and also hitting your head. I have to commend your willingness to compromise that you'd risk getting hurt and then actually getting hurt. I know it's not intentional, but it sure got your point across. If your friend was a normal person, she would have apologized after the incident, but she doubled down and said you did it essentially on purpose. I think this is where she lost everyone. Update. From what everyone has said, I am clearly not the idiot. Thank you all for your concern and well wishes. Anna and her family have been blocked, and I will no longer be in contact with her. Finally, I've had a few comments about my dog being certified that I want to clarify. I am not from the US, so I'm unsure what your guys' process is like, but all I mean is that Bailey has gone through the required testing, training, and registration to ensure she is legally allowed to be classified as a service animal. My husband and I both work equal hours. I'm a hairstylist working at a salon and he is a warehouse manager. My mill is an idiot and lives in the 1950s still. She said women can't stop taking care of their households as a priority, no matter what they achieve. I hated this and it caused endless problems between us. My husband learned to do everything from folding his clothes to fixing the toilet except cooking. His mom taught him that his future wife should do everything so he didn't have to learn. He defended me against her and cut contact with her. She hasn't participated in a gathering since 2015 due to family not wanting her around. My husband cleans while I cook, but he tends to complain from time to time and throws some weird beliefs opinions at me that are similar to what his mom thinks. I get it since he's been raised by her, and this mentality takes time to go away. Last week he had guests over and asked me to help him host dinner. We agreed that I cook and he clean like always. Guests arrived and my husband sat with them while I was in the kitchen cooking. I had issues with the oven, I was running late, and dinner wasn't ready yet. My husband rushed into the kitchen asking why dinner wasn't ready, yet I said I'd be done soon. He grabbed a few glasses while pressuring me to hurry up. I made a comment about how I didn't even get to meet his guests and how unfair it was, he casually said. Just do your job, and rushed out. I was shocked. I stopped him and asked, "What did you just say to me?" He looked at me quizzically. I turned the oven off and stopped cooking. He was freaking out, saying, No, wait, what are you doing?" While I took my apron off. I said I don't work for him to tell me to do my job, and he should take over cooking if he thought I was slow. He begged me not to do this to him and explained he didn't mean to tell me to do my job, but only spoke this way since he's used to saying stuff like that at work and wasn't paying attention. I refused to continue cooking and went upstairs to wash the smell of onion off me. I left him in the kitchen to handle serving dinner on his own, and he came upstairs 2 hours later after the guests left and looked an absolute mess, hair messed up and his shirt stained. He asked if I was happy and proud of proving a point by backing out of cooking last minute just cause he slipped and accidentally said, "Do your job." I told him that he's an adult and is responsible for what comes out his mouth, accidental or not, and again said I didn't have to cook for his guests and that I only volunteered to help, and he sounded like his mother with what he said. He said it wasn't true and that he was disappointed because I didn't stick to my word and left him to fend for himself and embarrassed him in front of guests by giving them half-cooked meals over something so dumb. He walked out after changing his clothes and called me mean. He wants an apology for backing out last minute knowing he can't cook. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's past time for him to learn to cook. Because it's not your job. He owes you an apology. Not the idiot. Good for you for not putting up with your husband's crap. There is a fundamental truth in your relationship: you know how to cook and he doesn't. That means that when it comes to cooking, you have a value he doesn't, and, as you just showed him, you are in a position of power. He needs to appreciate what you do for him, not take it for granted and bark out orders to you. I will say this: he will remember this lesson. If you had backed down at the last minute, he would have taken it as you would back down if he pushed you hard enough. Now he knows you mean business and you will not be pushed around, and you will not be treated like a servant. Not the idiot. Just because he accidentally said what he was pretty obviously thinking. Right. And then he has the nerve to be more worried about saving face in front of his buddies than mistreating his own wife, so he blames you. He is the problem here.